Welcome to KQEG and 7 River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. Well, this week, the spotlight shines bright on the Red Raider softball program with Head Coach Nahme George, along with Whitney Mislivecek and Madison Trussoni. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us, Terry.
Well, as those of you that watch the show each week and through the years know that Nahme George has probably been on here more than anybody ever. So, I mean, it's a familiar face, and someday he'll be taking over as host of the show.
I would do that.
So, anyway, Nahme George, formerly the head girls basketball coach, now just deciding to focus on softball. So we really appreciate him. He's one of our favorites, and I'm sure he's one of yours. Well, as we tape the show here on May 8th, fresh off of a huge win. You told me last night you were pretty excited. Fresh win over Aquinas by a score of 10-2. Last time you played them, I look back, they beat you 6-5. You had a strong game, and you set the tempo last night by scoring 4 runs in the first inning. Talk about that game.
Yeah, you know, that's really been a key for us this year, is scoring first. We're 3-1 in games that we score first, and so although our record isn't very good, I think we're coming around at the right time. You know, we were 1-11 last week at this time, and we were able to win our last 2 games. And you know, we started the season, everybody was kind of in a slump all at the same time, and that's never good in baseball or softball. And so it's nice to see us start hitting the ball. And yeah, we jumped on them early yesterday with 4 runs in the first, and that just allows everybody to relax. And you know, softball and baseball are weird sports in the sense that everything is contagious. If people are hitting, it seems like everybody's hitting, and if people are struggling, it seems like everybody's struggling. So I'm excited about this team and where we're heading right now. Even though our record isn't very pretty, I'm excited about what I'm seeing.
Well, one of the reasons we like to have Coach Nahme George on the show is because he's always positive and always says some good things. But you know, going back to the beginning of the season, you lost 4 in a row, and beginning early April, but just like last year, the weather has not been cooperating with spring sports, and it's been highly disappointing. Now, you started in March, a lot of your practices indoors, a lot of your games canceled. How do you continue to stay upbeat and keep the kids engaged when you have weather issues and cancellation?
You know, that is really a challenge with these spring sports, and the last 2 years in particular have been very difficult. We've had a lot of indoor practices. We're going to be inside again today with the rain. We try and do, well, we took advantage of being inside by doing lots of hitting and working in the cage a lot and doing a lot of tee work. But we also try and change things up a little bit. We try not to do the same thing. So one day we watched the Badgers tournament, men's basketball tournament game for practice, and one day we had an ice cream party, and just try and change things up a little bit because it's hard. If it's hard for me as a coach to be doing the same things over and over, I can only imagine what it is for my players to be doing the same thing. It gets monotonous. And, you know, that's been part of our struggle with, you know, the 4 losses in a row. It seemed like the game days, the weather was okay, so we were outside, and then the practice days we were inside, and we needed really to get out on the field and practice a little bit. And just the weather has not been cooperating with us to be able to do that. So that's been a challenge for us, definitely.
Well, Whitney Mislivecek, we have broadcast a lot of Red Raider basketball games, and as an underclassman, you have a gift, and we saw it in basketball, and now it's pretty obvious in softball. Talk about your thoughts so far in your early career.
Well, I've just put in a lot of time over these past younger years, and now that I'm in high school, I've been working hard, and it's paying off because I'm being successful in both the sports. It just feels good that it's working out, I guess.
It's working out very well. We've complimented you several times during the basketball season. But let's go back to your beginning playing sports, youth sports. Talk about who maybe inspired you when you were young and your early experiences in sports.
My parents, they definitely had a big impact on that. They always pushed me to do everything to the best of my ability, and just whenever I had a chance to do anything, like play up or just go to the gym or the field and take some extra swings or shots, I always did it. They just pushed me, and same with my coaches, pushed me hard.
But they recognize a gift in you too, your athleticism. Good. Well, speaking of a gift, the other gift is sitting right next to me. We broadcast a lot of her games, Madison, Trussoni, know the whole family very well, and a 3-sport athlete.
Yeah, I used to be a 3-sport athlete, not anymore though.
But that's kind of what you're known for, as a multi-sport athlete.
Yeah.
So, a senior, the next chapter of your life just right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So have you accomplished everything you thought? Go back to when you were a freshman and this is what I want to accomplish? Take us back through those years.
I don't know. Personally, I've never been like on a JV team before. In my freshman year, I was on a JV volleyball team, and then I was on VR for basketball, and then I was kind of floating between varsity and VR for softball. But it was an interesting experience to like realize what a JV team was like, which I don't know. Like in my selfishness, I didn't really like it, but I think it humbled me and. Like going through my years, I think that like my coaches really inspired me, and I think that I think I did get the best out of it.
Okay, well you're a senior, you're a leader. You said your JV, your sports playing at the lower level were not really that exciting for you, and you always wanted to achieve more. But what about the athletes that aren't as gifted as you, that are on the lower level team, and you see that they're struggling? Isn't it, you're on a platform now. Do you see your role to encourage and inspire them?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I always want to make sure that they have a smile on their face, and I always want to encourage them to be the best that they can be.
Go back to early years when you started playing sports and talk about your experiences, maybe who was important in your life.
I'd say, my parents. But I'd say for like specifically sports and basketball, since that's what I'm going to college for, I'd probably say Emily Hayden. She was a great senior, and she always made sure I had a smile on my face, and she would just encourage me no matter what I was doing in basketball. So.
Well, we've had I think all 4 of the Hayden kids on the show, or three of them at least, and so we're very familiar with that family. Well, Coach, you stepped down from basketball. You were always one of our favorites, and I've said that many times on the show, and I'm not apologizing for it because you are. And when we did a lot of basketball games, you were on the show when you were the head basketball coach and brought your players, and we look for assistance when we broadcast games, and a guy that gives us more than anyone else is our guest today, the Coach Nahme George. You step back because was it family?
Yeah, it was just not sustainable. I had 3 young kids. I still have 3 young kids. My wife was basically a single parent from November until June, and it just wasn't working. And I was missing my kids' basketball games and my kids' school concerts and that kind of stuff. And so I just needed to step back. And on top of it's not fair to either program to be giving half of my time. The basketball thing is really a full-time gig. Coach Roberson took over that program, and he does a phenomenal job, and he puts in the time, and he's able to do that, and I can focus on softball, and that's really the way it should be. It just didn't feel right. I miss it. I do miss coaching basketball. I miss being with the athletes. I miss being with the girls, but it was just something that wasn't sustainable long term.
Well, you're certainly engaged in the school, because when we broadcast games, whether it's football, basketball, track meets, whatever we're at, you're certainly very involved in the school. So your face is well known, and all of the student athletes know that you support all other sports too. How important is that?
I think it's really important. I think it's important for the softball girls to see me supporting them in basketball. We talk a lot about making sure that you're not just focusing on one sport. I want them being multi-sport athletes. I want them taking time away from softball to work on basketball, taking time away from basketball to work on volleyball or track and cross country or whatever. Both for a mental fitness thing and for a physical fitness thing. We don't want overuse injuries and stuff like that. So I think it's important for the coaches at a school to support each other and to support other programs. And, we're really all in this thing together. I want the girls basketball program to win as many games as they can. They want our softball program to win as many games as we can. We're all on the same team. We're all with the same players, and we're all fighting for the same goals.
Whitney, you've had a lot of coaches when you were younger. And the impact a coach has in the lives of young people is sometimes underestimated. You've had a lot of coaches and teachers and so on. And coaches and teachers, one and the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Describe for our viewers, Whitney, what you look for in a coach.
I want to see a coach pushing you all the time. They're like there for you if you need them to talk or anything, and just being available, always there. Yeah.
And I think you described the guy next to you, didn't you?
Yep.
You've had a lot of coaches too, Madison, and coaches have different styles, so it's not really fair to necessarily criticize coaches because everybody has a different way of delivering things, but there's certainly ingredients in a coach that inspire you. What are they?
I like a coach who's always positive and who, pushes me to be my best and who's just there for me even when I need things outside of sports. So, yeah.
What about teachers? You want teachers, you've had good teachers and maybe some that maybe are not the best in terms of how you reacted or how you learned. What do you look for in a teacher?
I look for in a teacher someone who listens to me when I need someone to talk to, who explains things really well because I need a lot of explaining too, and who also is positive.
Okay, well, don't feel bad because I needed a lot of explaining too when I was in school a few decades ago. Whitney, you've had a lot of teachers too, and boy, I admire teachers, the dedication, but did you click with a certain kind of teacher?
I wouldn't say I clicked. I mean, I've made like connections with them in a way that they like have helped me in like a good way where they've put in time after school and like whenever I needed it, or we made time for in the morning in between classes, and I'd say it like really helps me go like further and makes me understand it a lot better.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, the spotlight today on Central Red Raiders softball. One of our favorite, Nahme George, along with 2 of his key players, Whitney Mislivecek, Madison Trussoni. Well, are you satisfied with the season so far, Coach? And what do you look for? As I count, I think you have like 8 games left, providing the weather cooperates, and then you get into your postseason.
Yeah, so we have a big stretch here. We got 8 games in about 2 weeks here. Satisfied, I wouldn't use the term satisfied with the season. I think we've struggled, and I think we're a better team than what our record shows. I'm excited about the last couple of weeks. I think that we're starting to come around a little bit and playing to the level that we can play at. And so I'm anxious to see where we're going to go. I think I was just telling the girls the other day that I think we have some big upsets coming here soon. I think people are going to be surprised by us. Because they're going to look at our record and see that it's not very good and think that we're not very good. And I believe we're still a very good team and that we have very good things ahead of us.
The MVC race is kind of interesting this year. I see just last night the Logan Rangers beat the Hilltoppers on Alaska. And is there any clear favorite here down the stretch?
You know, I think Onalaska's probably still the favorite. They got the pitching with Sarah Krause, who's a phenomenal pitcher, one of the best in our area. Holmen is a very good team as well, with Delaney Seisha as their pitcher, and then they have really good hitters. so they can score runs. I think those two would be the favorites. Our conference, I think our conference is very strong. I think Toma is a good team. Toma's a little bit underrated, and I know their record isn't where they wanted it to be, but they're still a very good team and a very dangerous team, I think, in the playoffs. Aquinas is a good team. The top of their order in particular is just miserable to try to defend. They're so fast and they can hit, and we kind of caught them on an off night last night, but they're a good team. Our conference, top to bottom, is very strong, and I think that you're going to see that in the playoffs. I think you're going to see the MVC represented very well.
Good, very strong, very balanced. Well, talk about in particular, I know you have a deep roster, I know a lot of your players. Talk about the importance of Whitney, Mislivecek, and then Madison, and what they contribute to your team.
Yeah, Whitney played up with us last year as a freshman. I didn't really know she was as good a softball player as she was, and we saw her in tryouts and thought, holy cow, this is kind of a hidden gem for us. She's a terrific defender. She can play any infield position. We had her at third last year. We have her at second this year. Probably going to move to short when Maddie's gone. She really is going to get her go all around the infield for us. And hitting-wise, she's a tremendous hitter. Struggled in the beginning of the season and has kind of broke out of it here these last couple games, and we're really excited about her future. We tried to stay positive with Whitney during that little stretch there where she wasn't hitting very well, and that happens to everybody that plays softball or baseball. You go through those stretches, and it doesn't matter how good you are. The major leaguers, the best in the world, go through those stretches, and so we stayed positive. Whitney stayed positive, and now she's hitting the ball, and we're excited about that.
And your senior, Madison.
Madison has been pretty much our everything for the last couple of years. She's this is saying a lot because Central Softball's had some really good players, but I think she's as good as any defensive shortstop that we've ever had, and I really believe that, and that's saying something because there's been some phenomenal players who go through that program. Offensively, she struggled a little bit our first couple of years. This year, she changed her approach a little bit and changed her swing a little bit, and the results are speaking for themselves. She's batting over 400, leading our team in batting average. She's our leadoff hitter, gets on base, can steal bases. She's really been an all-around player for us this year, and somebody that we're going to dearly miss next year.
Boy, some lofty, tremendous comments. Did you know he felt that way about you, Madison?
He's told me a few times. So yeah.
So goals for you for the rest of the season, because you got another month and your season's over with and your career's over with.
I don't know. I just want to. I think for me, my goal is to just help my teammates. Just be positive throughout the games, even though our record doesn't really show it. And I just want to encourage all my teammates to be the best that they can be.
Down the line, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and they bring your name up as a Central Red Raider student athlete, what do you want them to say?
That I left a good mark. I don't want anyone to think anything bad of me, and I just want them to know that I want them to say that they remember only the good things, and that I didn't do anything that would bring anyone down or tear anyone down.
Speaking of good things, there's good things ahead for Whitney Mislivecek, isn't there? As a sophomore, wow, your future is bright. What would you like to see your accomplishments the rest of the way?
To keep up what I'm at right now. I was struggling at the beginning of the season, but I am doing a lot better now. I would just like to keep it up and keep hitting the ball and playing good.
Let's talk about the academic aspect of our two student athletes, starting with you, Whitney. I know you're, as a sophomore, your GPA is very high, over 3-point. You're involved in DECA, you're involved in 4-H and so on, so that demonstrates your leadership. But putting your academic hat on, that's a big part of who you are, isn't it?
Yes, I always make sure I get all my work in, do my homework, and study. Well, I try when I'm so busy, but it's just really important that I always make sure school comes first.
Yeah, and I know it doesn't, and it certainly does with Madison Trussoni too, because your honors, your honor roll, you received some other honors in basketball, your honorable mention, but academically, you've been solid.
Yeah, It's hard this last stretch of my senior year to keep up with all my work, but all the projects and all the finals coming up early and everything. But yeah, I think throughout my years, I've definitely worked really, really hard to keep up my grades, and my parents have always put an emphasis on doing good in school, because that's the one thing that's gonna bring me a bright future, and sports only go so far. So.
What is the future for you next year?
I am going to Western. I'm actually playing basketball there, so I'm signing tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that'll be all over the media. So we got a little preview of that.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna go into the nursing program.
Good, and that's a good, hey, not only is it good, solid academically, but of course the first time ever the Cavaliers went to the Nationals under
yeah.
Coach Chad Dull.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've had a lot of success.
And I want to congratulate Coach Dull, because he's getting a good one.
Yes,
he's going to enjoy having Madison.
Yeah, and I worked some of those games. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
he's gonna enjoy having Madison.
Well, good. So one thing really interesting about you is your family. Share that with our viewers.
Yeah, so I was homeschooled with my 2 brothers and my sister until the 4th grade, until my parents one day sat down with us and they were like, so we're going to make a big decision and we're going to adopt some of your cousins. And so we got 4 cousins right away, and then another one was born, and so we took her in right after she was born. And yeah, ever since, it's just been the best experience. I don't know what I would do without all my siblings, and it can get hectic in the house, but they're the best, and I love them so much.
All of them meaning 10?
Yeah, 10 siblings.
10 siblings? And you mentioned in your profile your role model is just one of them.
Yeah, my oldest brother, Dominic, he's always been there for me, and he's always pushed me to be the best I can be. Even when I was like 5 years old, he would try to give me a basketball and make me shoot it in the hoop. And I don't know, it's just, yeah, he's the best.
What's something people don't know about you besides 10 siblings?
Well, I failed my driving test twice.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm sure some viewers there, because I flunked mine twice too.
I've been to Hawaii like 3 times. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
To Hawaii 3 times.
Yeah, because my aunt lives there, and my cousin, so.
Good.
Yeah.
So something that they don't know about Whitney too is, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. She comes from a background similar to mine in a rural area of La Crosse.
Yeah. I live in Chaseburg.
You're not reluctant to say that, are you?
No, it's fine.
So Chaseburg, and you live on a farm.
Yeah.
So you're a farm girl, kind of, in a positive way. So my whole family, the product of farms, and that's where values and work habits really were born in this country.
Yeah. My dad basically keeps up with the farm, but we've always, like, whenever he needs any help, we always go and work hard, and I think that's part of why I work so hard today.
So that's great. So you enjoy living on a farm?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do much. It's basically him. He takes over. He does everything.
So someday you'll be taking over that farm.
Absolutely. No.
Is that right?
No, I don't know. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet.
Well, something people don't know about you is you probably didn't flunk your driver's license because you don't even have one yet, right?
No, I have one.
You know.
I passed the first time.
You passed the first time. Wow, what's leadership mean to you?
Leadership, I think a good leader is someone who's responsible and respectful and who's willing to, like, go an extra mile to do anything for anyone or something.
That probably describes a few of your friends and you, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Leadership to you as we close the show?
I think being a very humble person and being someone who people can feel comfortable coming to and talking to is the most important thing.
That's who you gravitate toward, those kind of people, but does that describe you too?
Oh, I think so.
I think so too, and that's why Whitney, Mislivecek, and Madison Trussoni are on the show, because not only are they good athletes, but they're good people, and we only get the best on this show.
That's right.
Did you know that?
That's right.
So good. Well, as we close the show, Nahme, it's always a pleasure, and we want to wish you the best of the rest of the season as you ended the season and get into the postseason, which will start, I believe, about the third week in May, so
Yep.
right around the corner. Maybe we'll have some nice weather as we move down the stretch. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having us, Terry. We appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team.
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Rick and I were at beautiful Lee Gilbert Field on Tuesday for an MVC game, the Aquinas Blue Goals entertaining the Holmen Vikings. Scott Bagneski's Blue Goals started strong in the first inning as both Brandon Murfelt and Jack Coleman doubled, and Justin Bausch scored as Aquinas led 1-0. Holmen began to flex its offensive power in the third inning, scoring 3 runs, courtesy of back-to-back hits by Kevin Cable and Ryland Wall. The big inning for the Vikings came in the 5th as Cable, Nevin Wall, and Logan Stauffer, along with Mason Palmer, were keys to 5 Holmen runs. The Holmen bats continued in the 6th as they totaled 11 runs on 10 hits for the afternoon. Only 4 hits for the Blue Goals as they struggled against senior pitcher Ben Byam, who recorded 15 strikeouts. Kevin Cable was 4 for 5 on the afternoon as Holmen kept its MVC title hopes alive with a 14-2 win. Both teams have 5 regular season games remaining before the postseason begins on May 23rd. Hope you will stay with us as we will be broadcasting games deep into the postseason. Well, that's it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. Appreciate you joining us. Hope you will have an active and a healthy week ahead.